David Ramirez had been having a perfectly ordinary Tuesday evening when the doorbell rang. He'd been grading papers from his high school physics class, a cup of lukewarm coffee growing cold beside a stack of tests about Newton's laws. The last thing he expected to see when he opened his apartment door was 7 feet of ethereal alien royalty. The being before him was unmistakably not human. Her skin held a subtle luminescence, shifting between pearl and silver like captured moonlight. 4 arms moved with fluid grace, and her elongated face bore features that were hauntingly beautiful despite their alienness. She wore what appeared to be ceremonial armor that seemed to be made of crystallized starlight. "David Ramirez of Earth," she said in accented but perfect English, her voice carrying harmonics that made his bones vibrate. "I am Princess Zarathul of the Nexari Empire. It's time to come home." David blinked several times, wondering if he'd fallen asleep at his desk. "I'm sorry, what?" The princess stepped closer, and David noticed her eyes held depths like spiral galaxies. 37 years ago, your world was visited by a Nexari scout ship. There was an encounter with a human female named Catherine Ramirez. Your mother. David's coffee mug slipped from his suddenly nerveless fingers, shattering on the floor. His mother had always told strange stories about lights in the sky the night before he was born, stories everyone assumed were labor-induced hallucinations. "That's impossible," he whispered. Princess Zarathul extended one of her 4 hands, and David saw his own eyes reflected in her alien features, the same unusual amber color that had always made him stand out. "Your people call it impossible. The Nexari call it destiny. You are the bridge between our species, David Ramirez, and your empire needs you." "My empire?" David laughed, but it came out shaky. "Lady, I teach high school physics in Cleveland. I drive a 12-year-old Honda and eat cereal for dinner. I'm not empire material." The princess tilted her head in a very human gesture of curiosity. "You survived a 30-foot fall from a construction crane when you were 8 with only bruises. You've never been sick a day in your life. You see electromagnetic spectrums that other humans cannot. Tell me, David, have you never wondered why you were different?" David's mind raced. The accident that should have killed him. His perfect health record. The way he could sometimes see heat signatures and electrical fields without any equipment. His colleagues thought he was just unusually intuitive about physics demonstrations. "Even if this is real," he said slowly, "why now? Why after 37 years?" Princess Zarathul's expression grew grave. "Because the devourers have returned. They consume entire civilizations, strip worlds bare of all life. 3 systems have already fallen. The Nexari Empire, for all our technology, cannot stand against them alone. But there is something about human nature. Your species' stubborn refusal to surrender, your ability to adapt and overcome impossible odds, that gives us hope." She gestured to the stars visible through his window. "Every species in our empire has gifts. The Kethani are master strategists. The Vorlak are unmatched engineers. The Ilthari can manipulate matter at the molecular level. But humans do something no other species can do. When faced with certain defeat, you somehow find a way to win anyway." "That's ridiculous," David protested. "Humans lose all the time. We make mistakes. We fail." "Yes," the princess interrupted, "but you get back up. Always. When the Kethani face overwhelming odds, they calculate the probability of failure and retreat. When the Vorlak encounter problems they cannot engineer solutions for, they accept defeat. But humans spit in the face of mathematics and physics and somehow make the impossible possible." David thought about history lessons, desperate last stands that turned into victories, scientific breakthroughs that defied conventional wisdom, ordinary people doing extraordinary things when everything was on the line. "The Nexari Empire spans 1,000 worlds," Princess Zarathul continued, "but we've grown comfortable, predictable. We need someone who thinks like a human to help us fight like humans. We need you to teach us how to refuse defeat." David looked around his small apartment, the half-graded papers, the empty pizza boxes, the mundane life he'd built. Then he looked back at the princess, at the vast universe of possibilities she represented. If I go with you, he said quietly, will I ever be able to come back to Earth? The princess smiled, and in that expression he saw something deeply familiar. His mother's smile. David, you're not leaving home, you're finally coming to it. He thought about his students who would need to find a new physics teacher. He thought about the life he'd be leaving behind. Then he thought about entire civilizations, depending on the one thing humans did better than anyone else in the galaxy: refusing to give up. David Ramirez, high school physics teacher from Cleveland, straightened his shoulders and looked the alien princess in the eye. When do we leave? Princess Zarathul's 4 hands moved in what he somehow understood was a gesture of respect. Immediately, your ship awaits. As David grabbed his coat and stepped into the hall, he realized that for the first time in his life he felt like he was exactly where he belonged. The Devourers might have conquered 3 systems, but they had never faced a species that considered impossible odds a personal challenge. The galaxy was about to learn what humans really meant by never give up. Princess Zarathul sealed the apartment behind them as they walked toward the stairwell. Oh, and David, you might want to call in. Sick to work tomorrow. Despite everything, David found himself grinning. I don't think they're going to believe my excuse.